Meeting to order. I'd like to wish everybody a Happy New Year today. And first thing on the agenda is approval of the minutes. Can I have a motion? Eden, can I have a second? Matt? Okay, any additions or corrections to the minutes? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Same sign. Okay, motion carried unanimously. Okay, we're on to the reports. Does anybody have any questions on Tri-County? Okay, how about unsafe structures? How about the development summary? Okay, I'll move to file and whatever the other word is, I can't remember today. Receive, thank you. Okay, moving on, we're on to the zoning cases. First one, ZBA 2023-0060, petition of Tracy J. Weinzerl. Can I have a motion to put that on the floor? Okay, Eden, Sharon second. Kathy or Andrew, whichever one of you, take it away.
All right, thank you. Yes, the petitioner is requesting to rezone the subject 5.63 acre parcel from I-1 light industrial to R2 medium density residential in order to bring this property into compliance with our zoning ordinance and to allow for the construction of a new single family dwelling. This parcel has been used residentially for at least 65 years. The petitioner plans on combining this parcel with a vacant adjacent parcel to the north, which she also owns. The well servicing that subject parcel is located on the adjacent lot. The petitioner's request would allow for the combination of these two properties and the continued residential use of the subject property. There were no objections and no consents on file. This tract is within the unincorporated town of Monica and is located on North Perry Street in Princeville Township. The 5.6 acre tract consists of a single family dwelling, machine shed, radio tower, timber, and a field. Surrounding parcels are a mix of residential and agriculture, with a grain storage facility also located to the north. The petitioner's request would bring an existing residential use into compliance with the zoning ordinance and be consistent with the surrounding residential uses and zoning. This parcel is served by private well and septic system, and the health department had no objection. The property has frontage on North Perry Street and West Locust Street, both Princeville Township local streets. The petitioner intends to demolish an existing single-family dwelling on the subject property and construct a new single-family dwelling. The request would not alter existing traffic patterns and no new access points are proposed. There were no comments from the Princeville Township Road Commissioner. The petitioner's request is consistent with the county's comprehensive plan designation of unincorporated center, which notes that unincorporated centers are almost entirely residential in use. Staff recommended approval, and the zoning board also recommended approval 7-0.
Thank you, Kathy. Are there any questions? Okay, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carried unanimously. Next is the zoning case ZBA-2023-0057, petition of Huskins Properties, LLC. Can I have a motion to put that on the floor? Eden, second. Matt, thank you.
The petitioner proposes to offer this subject dwelling for rental on a short-term basis through Airbnb and VRBO. This entire 1,832 square foot, 4-bedroom house will be rented rather than each room being rented individually. The subject 0.22 acre parcel consists of a single family dwelling and is located in Hireman's West Haven subdivision on Red Wing Drive in Limestone Township. There were no consents and no objections on file. The parcel's land use, as well as parcels to the north, east, and west, is residential. There is a vacant IDOT right-of-way to the south. The petitioner's request is consistent with the residential uses in the surrounding area. The petitioner will limit rentals to no more than 8 overnight guests. They state that the rules will be enforced that include quiet hours from 10 p.m. to 7 a.m., check-in at 3 p.m., and check-out at 11 a.m., no smoking, no pets, and no parties. Ring security cameras have been installed on the property. The ordinance requires that the operator keep a log identifying the name, address, and phone number of all guests, and that overnight accommodations not begin operation until a certificate of occupancy has been issued by the zoning administrator. Also, the ordinance requires no more than 4 automobiles may be parked accessory to a single-family dwelling for a period of no more than 72 continuous hours. The subject property has a 2-stall garage with an existing concrete driveway that may be used for parking by the guests. No more than 4 cars will be allowed on the property at one time. There were no comments from the Limestone Township Road Commissioner. The property is served by public water and public sewer. The health department had no objection. The request is consistent with the Peoria County Comprehensive Land Use Plan designation of rural, which encourages municipal type services on public infrastructure and allows for residential development. The request is also consistent with the Peoria County growth strategy of generating economic opportunity and stability. Staff recommended approval with the 8 restrictions on your report there. These are the same restrictions that you've seen on the last several cases, and the zoning board also recommended approval with those same restrictions unanimously.
Any questions for Kathy? Okay, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carried unanimously. Next up is a resolution amendment to Appendix A, Building Permit Fee Schedule, Chapter 12, Building and Property Maintenance Code. We gotta have a motion for that, right? Okay, motion to put that on the floor. Eden, Sharon, okay. Andrew?
Thank you. The proposed amendment before you establishes fees for battery energy storage systems. Back in June of 2023, staff came forward with an amendment to establish battery energy storage systems as a regulated use in unincorporated Peoria County. But at that time, we didn't have any fees. We were still undergoing our study and looking into how we could adequately charge for those. So we anticipate battery energy storage systems are coming in the near future, and so we need to get this on the books. We completed a comprehensive review of various fee structures based on state and various ordinances across the country. A lot of this development occurs on the coast, and so we had to look into New York's and California and Texas to really get an idea of what fees were being charged, how they were being applied. So we looked at cost of construction, which is one of the mechanisms we use for our commercial building permits. We looked at square footage, which is a mechanism we use for our plan reviews. And then we looked at fees based on energy capacity, which is what we're using for wind and solar fees at this time. We looked at those developments and we kind of looked at the various sizes, the various fees, and the capacities, and plugged in what our potential developments might look like to make sure that we were being the most effective. When we projected those out, it looked like energy capacity was the most consistent, and that is what we do use for our wind and solar projects. So the amendment you see in front of you, Appendix A, Building Permit Fee Schedule, is for battery energy storage systems based on kilowatts. The permit fees are consistent with our operational costs for administrative, for plan review, for inspections. You'll see that there is no recommendation from the Zoning Board of Appeals. Chapter 12, the Building Code, does not go before the Zoning Board of Appeals, so this is the first board that is entertaining this proposal. If there's any questions, I'm happy to entertain those.
Any questions for Andrew? Okay, Andrew, can you explain how, I know you guys came up with on the fee on it for what, it's that the county won't lose any money or in that, but how some of them were, some other counties or other states, what they were charging, that seemed like it was kind of an outrageous amount. I guess what I'm trying to do is let you toot your own horn how Peoria County isn't, we're taking care of our customers and not trying to stick it to them. With the permit fees.
We looked at, we started basically by doing research on where some of these larger scale facilities are located. And then we went back to their ordinances and even spoke to some of their administrators and inspections teams and determined how they came about with their fees. We've got permit fees that are ranging upwards of millions of dollars, and we just didn't feel that that was adequate based on the services that we were providing. So we wanted to make sure that it was covering our operational costs, but it wasn't something that was being a hindrance to development. We anticipate that this is going to be a more commonality, such as solar, in the near future. And so this particular mechanism just was consistent with the other developments that we see that we felt were comparable the wind and the solar. And looking at it based on cost of construction, the scenario I'll just play out was over $500,000. Looking at it based on the energy capacity, that same permit would be in the range of maybe $40,000. So it just seemed more equitable to range it using the capacity than some of those other tools that we might have available to us. We looked at those Texas, California, New York proposals or developments and kind of plugged our numbers in with their numbers, and this one just made the most sense across the board.
Thank you. Any other questions? Terry?
I have a comment more than a question. With Ameren discontinuing the net metering program at the end of '24, battery storage will be much more popular and another option that people don't consider currently because they're being credited for excess production of a solar system. So the fact that you guys are ahead of this is a big plus for the county. You're being proactive, and I appreciate that, because in a situation where it goes the other way, where we're reactive to it, you have pretty upset people when they find out that, you know, they plan to put a battery system in, and all of a sudden, then there's a fee structure behind permits and so forth, and this is just a really smart move to be ahead of it. So thanks to Kathy and Andrew for their forward thinking.
Any other comments or questions? Okay, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carried unanimously. We're at public comment. Is there anybody here that doesn't look like we have any public comment? Anybody have anything in miscellaneous? Okay, meeting's adjourned. Thank you, everybody.